At the start of this season, we had one aim at Lewis FC: avoid relegation from the Premier League, and I'm pleased to say today, in our first match of the episode against Leeds United, we have a real chance to make that a reality. We are 14th in the league on 39 points. Win this game mathematically, Leeds United cannot catch us. Oh, and as if that wasn't enough, we've also got the small matter of an FA Cup semi-final. This is all of a sudden a real route to European football. Can we get to the final? Let's find out today. Yes, folks, I hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. Welcome back to Park to Prem. If you are enjoying the series, go down below, leave a like. We've not eclipsed 1,500 likes in many episodes. It'd be nice to do it today. Hopefully, of course, as we tick off the club vision and will achieve our aim for the year, avoiding relegation from the Premier League. Nothing else really mattered. I'm pleased to say that even if we don't beat Leeds United in the first game today, we should be safe. That said, with an FA Cup semi-final on the horizon, it'd be a good time, wouldn't it, to buck up our form. Since we last here, 2 games played, 1 win, 1 defeat. We lost against Newcastle United. Their only goal came from the penalty spot, and with their XG of 1.42, honestly, the penalty was the best chance of the game for them. Unfortunately, in the Newcastle game, BJS was sent off. That definitely impacted our ability to come back. But we did bounce back from this defeat with a comeback result, beating Everton 2-1. Having conceded a goal, we had a kickoff and we went straight up the other end and responded immediately. Yeah, this is the kind of response you want to see. Cardozo, the captain, their number 8, leading by example with the finish from just inside the box. Lovely finish into the bottom corner. And in the second half, we managed to pick up a much needed 3 points. And I'll tell you what, Aguiar and Pearce maybe reigniting and fixing North American relations between El Salvador and the USA with that link-up play. It was Pearce's first goal for the club. Just great to see him on the score sheet, really. Going into that Everton game, I had been making a few little tweaks. Our defence has been actually quite good lately. When you look at the games, I know the form hasn't been amazing. We've not been shipping in a load of goals against us, but goal-scoring-wise, I felt like we had to do something. The change that I've made is to get rid of the wide centre-backs and instead to play 2 ball-playing centre-backs, but these ball-playing centre-backs to have the additional in-possession instruction of runs wide with the ball. The reason for that is kind of simple. I feel like wide centre-backs often get caught out of position, and in Football Manager, and this has been the case for a few years, ball-playing centre-backs who dribble more on are quite, well, smart. The wide centre-back role just often gets caught out of position because they drift wide when they don't have the ball. Whereas actually by playing with ball-playing centre-backs, when you're distributing it out from the back and having the dribble more instruction on them, it means that they will run out of their positions like a wide centre-back would when you have the ball, but only when they are the player in possession, which bizarrely just results in way fewer turnovers that cost you. The other change that I've made is Cardozo is playing as an advanced wing-back. Of course, he found himself in the penalty area for that goal that he scored, and I feel like it's just a little bit of an extra risk having him go forward, but it's a risk that is just simply put worth taking. He had previously been playing as a midfield playmaker. That is a role that sticks back a little more. But to be honest, when you're playing with 3 centre-backs, I'm not entirely sure you need a defender in front of the 3 centre-backs because, well, there's 3 of them. They don't need coverage. With 5 games left of the season, I am going to use these last few games just to experiment with little minor changes like the ones I've explained there, just to see if we can refine how we've played. I actually feel like this year we've been better than the stats would suggest. From a defensive point of view, I think we've been kind of okay. Our issue has simply put been goal scoring, and in fact if we look at the XG table, you can see here our expected position is actually 10th. We've just massively underperformed when it comes to both goal scoring and also expected points. Despite massively underperforming in our expected goals, though, I want to point out that Aguiar is not really the reason for that. He has an expected goals of 9.6. He has 9 goals to his name. It's actually been the wider players that just haven't been converting their chances. Even someone like Valentin Diop, who arrived, of course, in January, 2 goals to his name in 9 games doesn't seem awful until you realise he's got an XG of 3.6. Yeah, this is a trend across all our wide players too. That is something I definitely want to look into. I wonder if there's a world where maybe I encourage our players in the kind of attacking department to actually play more as regular strikers that drift wide as opposed to wide attacking midfielders that drift inside. I do like kind of a 5-2-3 shape or a 3-4-3 shape in Football Manager. 3 strikers, I feel like, is just always good for fireworks. And yet, goals have been a bit of a struggle this year, so that could be a way around it. Obviously, Diop can't actually play at striker, so could it be a world where we go to some weird asymmetric thing, where Cardozo has that permission to roam forward, and then on the side, where we have kind of an offset striker, that's where Pearce, as the slightly more defensive midfielder in possession, kind of just covers up. I'm not sure. I feel like a shape like this could really work with our team. As much as I want to experiment, I'm not going to experiment in this game here. We are looking to end Leeds United's 3-year reign of playing Premier League football. And in fact, for ourselves and fellow promoted sides QPR and Swansea, it's not been, I was going to say, too bad a year. The last few years, the 3 Premier League teams that have kind of come up from the Championship have gone straight back down. It looks like ourselves and Swansea are going to stay up. I feel like I should be looking at Nottingham Forest a little bit and potentially also Leeds United for any players. If those teams go down, maybe there is some bargains to be found. And if I'm not mistaken, as soon as we find out that we've stayed up in the Premier League this year, we should get our new budgets for the season set, which, given our overall balance, I'm hoping is going to be a slightly more hefty amount than we were given at the start of this year. And alongside probably dishing out some new contracts to players that have already been worth stuff and, well, moving on potentially players that haven't been worth a lot, something we definitely need to prioritise this year is eradicating release clauses. When I look at players with minimum release clauses in our team, and kind of you look at the players that are in the first team, there's a few here on lower release clauses that I don't really like the look of. Sassy, with a £27 million release clause, is wanted by Brighton. I mean, look, this is modern football. Any Premier League team can afford a £27 million player if they want. If I ask Sassy if he wants to renew his contract, he wants to wait until we've secured safety. So that is why, you know, the sooner we can secure safety, the more beneficial it would be, because I can start to get the wheel moving on these things. All of that to say, I am very keen to beat Leeds United. There is one player missing today, Juan Pereira, who I absolutely adore, is unfortunately unavailable. I feel like this guy, as a centre-back signing, we obviously signed him right before deadline day for £9.75 million. I'll admit the average ratings aren't the most flashy, but just in terms of raw ability, I feel like he is a really good ball-playing centre-back, and I know I talk about him all the time. I feel like alongside Grommen, like, they could be our long-term kind of 2-player partnership at the back. They are 2 quality centre-backs, arguably, I think, the best 2 players in our team. Also, just while we're here, Grommen, 2 caps for the Belgium national team. Not bad for a man who's only 18 years old. With Pereira out, it does mean that Jimenez is going to come in to play at the heart of our defence, and then Silva, who of course we picked up in January, is going to play as that right centre-back. He's still picking up the centre-back position slowly but surely, but actually, as a ball-playing centre-back, which is the role we've now kind of shifted to, I feel like he really fits the bill. We've got in some really good technical centre-backs, which I think can only be a good thing with the way we like to play. I do think for this game, I'm going to bring in Nicolas Silva as well. I feel like he and Julio have really been battling it out for that left attacking mid spot this year. Diop on the right side has really locked down that spot since he's arrived to the club, which is a little bit harsh on Lennis, because Lennis's kind of goal scoring really hasn't been that bad. It's just one of those ones where I compare it to Diop, who's 3 years younger, and I kind of look at the longer term potential of these 2 players in the first team. I just feel like Diop has that, well, slightly kind of more, well, possible longevity. Admittedly, they are 2 players that do have a little bit of potential between them, and in all reality, I think they could both probably do a job for us. Anyway, that is enough discussing my problems and, well, thoughts on the team right now. I do feel like with these series, I like to kind of keep you guys up to date with kind of where players are in my head, in my kind of standings, perhaps, you know, where I'm thinking my head's out in terms of the direction I want to take the team in. I feel like the team building element of Football Manager is easily one of my favourite parts of the game. Obviously, we're going to hope the team we've built is capable of getting a result here. And, well, with Leeds United, well, cut adrift. They have to win this game. They are, I think, 9 points away from safety. They need this win. They will be desperate to get this one. If we get it, we basically are relegating them. It is worth noting in the Premier League, you get millions of pounds at every position higher you finish. So, you know, as much as the priority is staying up, and even if we don't win this game, yeah, we'll probably stay up anyway, it is really in my interest to get every single win and every single point we can between now and the end of the year. Of course, after this game, we've got an 8-day break till we take on Crystal Palace, who are actually directly adjacent to us in the league. It's 2 teams struggling in the Premier League who find themselves in the FA Cup semi-final facing off. And well, for one of those teams, they're going to have a chance to end the season on a high, which is what Leeds United are looking to do, as Harry Gray, the youngster, in real life in this universe, he's a bit older, pops up with a goal. That is problematic. What went wrong here? Gray played it wide. Garcia just caught napping. And then between our 3 centre-backs, we just don't catch the late arrivals, and Harry Gray tucks it away into the bottom corner. We were previously on bypass press and pass into space. I've turned off both those instructions because, to be honest, we've only a single striker who's not playing a pressing role kind of up top for them, and with the way we play out with our centre-backs, I don't really want us lumping the ball forward. I don't think there's going to be much of a press coming from Leeds United now. Instead, I want us to have a little bit of the ball, try and make something happen when we do have it. 10 minutes left of the first half, set piece, edge of the box, Cardozo, Captain Cardozo, can you turn hero? He steps up, he hits it, it hits the woodwork, bounces away to safety, and Leeds United have got away with one. Half-time in this game, 1-0 Leeds. I mean, the scoreline feels harsh. We need to do more going forward, though. I think I'm going to try and ask our players to be a little bit more proactive when we are defending in this second half. I'm going to tell our wing-backs to both play as pressing wing-backs alongside our two defensive midfielders. And then I think with Diop, I'm actually going to tell him just to play as an inside outlet winger and Silva just to play as a winger. I feel like we've got to leave men a little further up the field. I don't want to make any personnel changes yet, but I'm going to just change our goalie distribution to balanced. I feel like playing it out from the back hasn't exactly been to our benefit here. But I definitely do want to tell our team just to try and use the flanks a little bit more. We want to stretch out this Leeds United defence, try and cause some overlaps. They have got two players in the wider areas and they are sitting that little bit deeper. But I do feel like the physicality of our wingers and how quick we are, like we can win those one-on-one battles. Also, you know what? Early doors in the second half, we're going to go to an attacking mentality. And I am desperate to shout, well, I was going to say some encouragement at the players. We'll shout the encouragement if we don't score, because we're on the front foot here to start this half. Garcia playing it inside, the goal scorer Gray lumps it away from danger, but only as far as Silva. Mentioned the ball playing centre-back, playing with dribble more. He brings the ball forward, finds himself in a dangerous area. Lovely little bit of build-up play here. Back post, Sassy gets the goal. It's the wing-backs linking up, and it is 1-1. Great start to the half. Silva and Garcia's build-up play here was really, really nice. And Garcia on his weaker foot just floated it to the back post. And it was the left wing-back in a dangerous area, nodding it into that bottom corner. Right, Cardozo over a set piece. A few of the highlights in the first half that we had were from set pieces. We've had a few of them. We get a lot of players forward, and there's obviously a lot of big players to aim for. On this occasion, Leeds United have dealt with it initially, but still the danger has not passed. It's Garcia with one assist to his name already. On this near side, dancing with the ball, floating it in. He was looking for Sassy again. It falls to Pearce. He chested it. You think he's going to volley it into the top corner. Instead, it's almost left the stadium. Admittedly, that is not saying a lot with this dripping pan, is it? It's not exactly the biggest coliseum of footballing, well, heritage, shall we say. They're on the ball here. Varela in a wide area. It's a 1-1 game. And Sassy has been absolutely burnt there from a defensive point of view. Varela trying to get it in. Oh my, what are we doing, Aguiar? What are we doing? Aguiar has given away a penalty, and I actually have question marks as to why was he so deep doing some defending there. It's a chance from the spot. We fought hard to get level, and now Leeds with a chance to score. This is not what I want to see. Satriano stood over it. Nana's made some penalty saves this year. I need him to make another. Can he do it? Oh my word, he can. Nana, you beautiful bloke. I'm going to use this as my moment to make some changes. I'm actually thinking fresh legs just in the final third. I'm thinking we bring in Lennis, we bring in Julio, bring in the two Colombians, we bring in Spolyar through the middle for Aguiar. Cardozo's not at the best of games. You know what? Bendel, come on down. And I'm now also going to shout some encouragement. We are level. Nana has kept us in it, not for the first time this year either. He's made so many penalty saves. I think that's 3 or 4 at least in the league. When you look at the stats of this game, outside of that penalty, they've done nothing in the second half. That is their only shot on target, I think, since they've scored. But an issue we've had this year is having this killer edge to kind of get a comeback complete. We've drawn too many games. There's a chance here if we can make it happen. Julio turns, gives it back to Gromman. Bendel, Pearce, Bendel, shoots. That was a whisker wide. There is 10 minutes left here. I really feel like the changes we've made in this game have swung it somewhat in our favour, but with 5 minutes left, we're still looking for a hero. Spolyar over it. It's another set piece for us. We've had a lot of these today. It is one of our big strengths. We've got lots of big players. Jimenez heads it over. Leeds are struggling to contain us, but they are weathering the storm. But Leeds, they need to win. This result is not good enough for Leeds United. There could still be a chance here, though. They were bringing it forward. They've lost out on the ball, and suddenly we're springing, well, a potential counter-attack. Spolyar in the wide area. The Croatian international trying to drift wide, floats it in. Only one player to aim for. Sassy latches onto the loose ball as we have them penned back again. It's whipped back post. Spolyar's there. He has to keep the header down and he just doesn't. There's 4 minutes of added time. There is still chances. You know what? You can't say we've not created enough in this game. We have created a lot, but we need a breakthrough. Grommen, the left centre-back, bringing it forward here, skips past his man. Look at this build-up play. Loses out the ball, battles back for it. He's going on his own. He's hit the side netting. In fact, I think the keeper parried it wide with his foot. And there's 3 minutes left. I don't know how we've not scored more in this game. If nothing else, this shows that we can create chances. We just need to convert them. I thought it was in. Jimenez heads wide. A win would have secured our safety today. A draw doesn't. But Leeds United needed 3 points and they have failed to get it. I mean, I'm sure Leeds will feel like they could have won that game because they missed a penalty. But outside of that, we killed them for 90 minutes. But yeah, that cutting edge, that killer instinct, it's just been lacking this year. Maria Garcia gets the Man of the Match award. I'm not sure why he's declining lately. What are we doing here, mate? But if we do look at the newly updated league table, we are 12 points clear of Leeds United. There are only 12 points left on offer and they are the only team within touching distance of us. Of the bottom three, they would have to win all their remaining games and turn around a 29 goal difference to be close. And actually, when you look at the goal difference for us of -7 compared to all the teams around us, I feel like it does put into perspective that actually we have been fiercely competitive this year. There has not been many matches where we have been absolutely turned over. Also, with that result there, we've moved up in the expected points table to 8th, almost in Europe. Anyway, next weekend we are playing in the FA Cup. Leeds United might be playing next weekend while we're in this game, in which case we might be about to secure safety without even touching a football. But a trip to Wembley awaits. I asked you guys last episode, can anyone remember if I've played at Wembley? Lots of you reminded me, I did play at Wembley. We lost in the FA Trophy final when we're in the National North and South. That is the only time we've gone to the home of English football. I'm hoping for a happier return this time around. Okay, well, it is the day of the FA Cup semi-final, and I assume we're safe purely because I got an inbox item about Grommen being paid a bonus because we've avoided relegation. Yeah, it's a bit of an anticlimactic way to find out we're safe. Swansea City beat Leeds United 4-1, which means if we just look at the league table here, we're safe. Yeah, admittedly, we're in 15th and it's not exactly looking flashy, but we're not going down. That is the main thing. Have to say that 10 draws in 34 games feels a little bit high. Hopefully we can turn some of those into wins next season. And of course, for this game here, there can't be a draw. There has to be a winner today. It's the FA Cup semi-final. If the scores are level after 90 minutes, it goes to a shootout. Is that how it is in real life? There's a couple of things with this database where the FA Cup and the whole English pyramid have to be rebuilt, where I'm not sure if they're correct or not. I know that the FA Cup got rid of extra time. Did they get rid of it at the semi-final as well? Oh, and actually, while we're on the topic of rules, if someone could answer this on a postcard, it'd be great. In the Premier League, a few years ago, there was a rule added where you could only sign 6 players under the age of 21 in a season. That doesn't exist in this database, where, obviously, like I said, some of the Football League has had to be rebuilt. But when I went to another save game that was just in the base game, I couldn't find that rule either on the competition screen for the Premier League. So I'm not sure if it's the database I'm using and I was just blind on the rules screen, or has that rule just vanished in real life? If anyone knows, and if you're playing FM26, does that rule exist for you? Please let me know, because I'm incredibly confused. Anyway, I'm not sure that's what I should be using my brain power for today. I need to lock in. We've got the FA Cup. In terms of team news, Pearce has picked up an injury in the last week. You can see here, a groin strain. He is definitely not even going to be fit enough for the bench. And elsewhere, Morrissey, who he picked up in January to be our backup left wing back, is cup tied. So, yeah, he can't be on the bench either. David Addons is going to be the man I bring in to play in the midfield. The 19-year-old is still developing really well. It's easy to forget he's literally only just turned 19. This guy is so young with his 20 determination, a really high skill ceiling. I need to give him minutes. I need to give him exposure. Admittedly, this is perhaps a bit of a baptism of fire. And elsewhere in the team, in terms of starters, the only other change from the previous game is the fact that Prem is back in the team. Juan is back with a plan. And well, hopefully, alongside Grommen and Silva at the back, we are going to keep things firm and, well, defensively sound. Just as a little reminder as well, the other semi-final is between Notts County of League 2 and Chelsea. I kind of would love to see Notts County make it, but I think we have to assume at at this point. The winner of this game will be playing Chelsea in the final. It's our first trip to Wembley in, I think, 8 seasons. It's been a long time to make our return. I'm going to hope it's a happier return than last time where we were, well, embarrassed. There's not really a better way of putting it. We lost to Scunthorpe on that occasion. Obviously, today's opposition, slightly higher standard than Scunthorpe United. Okay, this should be an interesting game. Crystal Palace are kind of struggling this season in the Premier League. In fact, they're alongside us. But in their team, they've got Chouameni, they've got Aidan Heaven. They've actually got some proper ballers in their team. And Chadi Riyad at the back, I noticed as well. Yeah, they have talent. They've got Uche as well, who I believe is in their team in real life. He is in their team in real life. He's always on the bench. Awad, Rico squares it. Oh my word. Who blocked that off the line? Pereira back in the team, turning hero early on. Don't love the fact that they had a highlight within 3 minutes of the game starting, and now they're in possession again and potentially bringing it forward again. Awad, Rico. We can't afford to go down early, but right now we're getting called... well, all out of shape here. The ball is played wide. Eurico already put the ball in once. Fizzes it in. It deflects. It's blocked away. Clear it away. And I'm very tempted to change things early doors here. Is it too reactionary to change things so early? I don't think so. I'm just looking at the team they're playing. They're playing with 2 wide forwards and a channel forward and a channel midfielder. I think rather than having pressing defensive mids this game, I'm actually just going to go to regular defensive mids, and... I kind of want to drop Julio and Diop deeper, but the issue is for both of these guys, they can't actually play the deeper positions. I think what makes the most sense is to make players like Sassy and Garcia in the wide areas really tightly mark the wide forwards. Annoyingly, and I've just done it for one player here, the actual process to set up kind of man marking and tighter marking is genuinely painful in this game. I find myself this year in Football Manager interacting with team instructions way less, just because the process of actually setting up like marking for a specific player and tighter, like it just feels like so many clicks. I don't understand why the marking tightness and then the market target need to be on separate screens. There's room for both of them to coexist here. Anyway, my thinking basically is that if Garcia and Sassy man-mark their wide players a little bit more, there should be less channels of space in the heart of our defence for Grom and Silva and Pereira to basically be pulled open for. I'm also going to change our pressing trap to deny, the ball into the wide areas. We're going to trap inside here. I'm going to try and isolate their wide players a little bit. That perhaps is going to be a little bit challenging for our 2-man midfield setup, but it should mean that the tracking wingers do just drop in a little bit more and sit tighter. Anyway, that's the theory. I feel like I've got to tinker with things early on because right now Palace have us on the ropes and they're on the attack again here. Bringing the ball forward, shooting. It's tipped onto the post. We don't clear it away, but Nana does scoop the ball up there. I was just hoping the highlight was going to end. Why is the highlight still going on? Why are they in possession again? This is not fun to look at, nor is it fun to watch. Matsumoto plays it forward. Garcia reads it nicely on this occasion. Obviously, we aren't going to be looking to spring the counter-attack when we can. And well, maybe that is what we can do here. Although, I suppose at this point, the chance to counter has gone. Crystal Palace have got their defensive shape all set up, and it's now on us to try and break it down. Sassy, the number 3, can make magic happen. Lovely run here. Bursting down the left-hand side. Oh, my word. Nidal Sassy, take a bow. They just didn't respect him. They stood off him. They went, you know what? If you want to go down the wing, you can. He takes it in his stride there. Just an explosive turn of pace by the left wing back, and not for the first time this year, he just tucks it away. Our goal scorer in today's matches so far has been the left wing back twice. I'm not sure I can get rid of the left wing backs, can I? Right, I've shouted encourage there. That has cancelled a highlight. Does that make me a bad person? Maybe, but I want to shout encourage. We're a goal up, we're playing well. And now, well, they're in possession. Heaven though, loose ball. This is where we can counter. Look at this, we can break with pace. Julio has Sassy on the overlap. Can he find him? He does. Is Sassy onside here? If he is, and a ball of quality's in the middle, we're going to find ourselves 2 goals up. Diop heads it away. He is the star of the moment. It's 2-0. I have question marks over whoever number 23 is there. That was shocking tracking. Sassy breaks the offside trap, puts it in, and Diop still had to win the header there. Almost looked like he handballed it in 3D, but obviously there is VAR. It would have been ruled out. Definitely it is massive Ed. Look at the XG. Palace fans must be fuming. They've had 1 golden opportunity. I say that, it's kind of 2 golden opportunities. Only 1 shot on target. That heroic block in the 3rd minute seems critical at this moment in time. And all of a sudden, there is a lot of pressure on them to adapt and try and overcome. A lot of the changes I made were to try and make us more defensively sound. The side effect has been, going forward, we look deadly. Julio, Sassy's in again. He almost scored again. The keeper with a great little one-on-one save. Half an hour played here, praising the players. I couldn't have asked for a better 30 minutes. We made some tweaks. Definitely has shut down that momentum that Crystal Palace had. They had, a couple of opportunities within the first 10 minutes. That has come and gone. We've ridden out that storm. And we're in the ascendancy, and it's all coming through Sassy. The number 3 is running the game here. He puts it into Diop, who was at the back post. It was almost a replica of the second goal. That was, I think, off the woodwork there. It's still not away from danger. Diop, Pereira, I mean, look, we're creating stuff here. We look deadly here, but there's still a lot of football to be played. A third goal would have been really nice there. If Crystal Palace were to get the next goal, and especially if they were to get it right now before half-time, I feel like that would, shift the momentum a little bit. Tchouameni, Diakite, Chadi Riyad. They are only leaving their 2 centre-backs back, and their wing-backs really are pushing up the field. Although on this occasion, the wing-backs are the players finding the space. Matsumoto misses the target. That was an awful miss. We've had 22% of the ball, and look at it. 8 shots on target to their 2. Admittedly, when you look at the XG, maybe tells a slightly different story. I'm going to tell the players I'm happy. I could be critical here, but I feel like with our fragile mental state, we've got to keep praising the players and make them happy. I'm also thinking we're going to look to use a little bit more attacking width in this second half and also progress through the flanks. And then this might be a little bit risky, but I feel like just for our own kind of sensibility, I am going to change our 2 centre mids to play a deeper position for us here. Of course, Cardozo will still get up the pitch as a box-to-box playmaker, but at this point, I think we can afford to be a little bit more conservative going forward. I don't mind the wing-backs going on a run. I don't mind the wing-backs trying to get involved in the play, a bit like Garcia has here, giving it to Diop, giving it to Sassy. He scored again. I don't mind that. That's what I don't mind. He scored. I don't know what to say. Sassy is a god. What I was going to explain is that basically with the encouragement to look for overlaps and play in the wider area, I want us to try and double up in the wide areas and get it into the middle on occasion, but just in the defensive kind of centre of the pitch, especially when we have the ball, Cardozo and Addons just sit there a little bit more. They can definitely do that now because it's 3-0. Have we got a bit fortunate this game so far? I say so far because there's still 40 minutes left and they've got a corner. We have. But if you look at the expected points of this season, I think we've got unlucky in the league at times. So you know what? We have earned our luck. And you know what? You make your luck as well. Crystal Palace, though, on the attack here. Matsumoto's had a stinker so far. And the striker, well, his shot there was actually blocked wide. He's on a 6.0. Uche's on a 6.1 as well. They are not the best, ratings from an attacker, are they? I don't think you need me to tell you that. I know that our wing-backs are the reason that we're ahead here, but I'm just going to change our our wide players here to just full-backs now. I'm going to bring in Jimenez as well, just to play as a defensive midfielder here. Obviously, great in the air, which helps with set pieces. And because I have dropped the centre mids deeper, the fact he can't play centre mid and can only play defensive mid is less of an issue. Going to bring in Silva on the left and Spolyar up front, just for some fresh legs in the final third. Silva at centre-back in the middle hasn't been at his best, so I'm actually going to bring in Haddad as well. Going to make 4 changes here. Lots of fresh legs just in the centre of the pitch. And I'm hoping that is going to be kind of what's needed just to get this result over the line a little bit. Obviously, we're already on the balanced mentality. I'm not going to go more defensive here. We're 3 goals up. There's 20 minutes left. I really should be starting to believe at this point, and yet because of how this season's gone, there's just that little bit of doubt that this, result is not 100% done yet, and that with 20 minutes left, we've got to, remain at our best. Let's see what we can do here. Garcia plays it to Diop. The number 10s look great in this game. Pings the ball over to Silva. Obviously, the fullback's not going to overlap as much, but they don't need to. We've earned a penalty. If we score it, I'm assuming this is going to be given with VAR, but if we score it, it is game over. It is Maria Garcia, our left-back scored 2. Can our right-back get on the score sheet? A man who's been at the club a long old time. He steps up, he hits it, bottom corner, no mistake. I'm going to see you tomorrow for an FA Cup final. Crystal Palace, of course, famously winning the FA Cup in recent memory, but in this universe, just under a decade later, history ain't repeating itself. They're not going to a final today. The swing in kind of XG as well has been massive in the second half. I know the penalty has helped with that, but there is no denying the changes that we made really have worked throughout this entire game. Crystal Palace, they've changed some things up, although they've not made many subs really. But they just have nothing in the tank. I guess it's realistic, isn't it, if Crystal Palace aren't making any subs? It's a bit like, how they don't have a bench under Glasner. Is that too soon? I'm sorry, Crystal Palace fans, if you're watching this video, you've had a horrible month or two in real life, and now I'm just inflicting misery here. It could get worse. We could get 5. Please get 5. It'd be quite fun. Oh my, we actually have. Diop's got another. It's 5-0. Why couldn't we do this in the league more? We are 1 game away from European football. I hadn't really thought about that until now. That is actually massive. Obviously, the opposition we're going to play, very likely going to be Chelsea. They're playing Notts County in the semi-final tomorrow. Imagine if we got Notts County and then somehow bottled it, and they're in League One playing in the Europa League. I hope that's not what happens. It would be the funniest thing ever if somehow Notts County make it to the final, beat us, and then as a League One team, they find themselves in the Europa League. Nottingham Forest, by the way, relegation confirmed. Chelsea, we're playing in our next league game. Of course, very likely the team we're going to be taking on in that final next time. Has that other semi-final happened? It has. The dream is dead. Notts County have lost. Imagine if they'd somehow done it. They've already knocked out Liverpool and Tottenham. I feel like it was actually possible. I feel like now when you look at our recent form, it doesn't look that bad. Like a couple of 1-0 defeats are the only real defeats we've had since the 11th of Feb. That's actually wild when you look at it. We've been very consistent, just consistently drawing, which is maybe not the best consistency. Anyway, folks, tomorrow, to end the week, massive action. We're going to do the FA Cup final. We're probably also going to start a little bit of a transfer special, although what I think I'll probably spend tomorrow doing, really, is spring cleaning, sorting through the squad, running through who I think's going to stay, maybe also just doing a little bit of tactical brainstorming. I don't know if we need to radically change away from this shape. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea in the comments. I've seen the comments. At the same time, though, I feel like it might be a bit premature to drop the back three. I feel like our defence has been a big strength of ours this year. And I think with the little tinkering that we've done lately, has made a massive difference for us. I mean, obviously, we have an expected position of 10th. We're down in 11th. And when we look at the season preview, we weren't predicted to be down at the bottom. We've actually now moved up to 18th. I think there is no denying we have overperformed this year. In terms of our actual league position, we probably should be a little bit higher. The question is that down to tactics? Is that down to personnel? Is it a little bit of both? I think that's probably where it's at. Nevertheless, really hope you enjoyed things today. Tomorrow, we're back with a massive episode. We could be playing European football next year. Can we pull it off? Come back next time to find out. Big love to you all. Have a lovely Thursday, and I'll see you next time for more. I'm out.